earlier today. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you've said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president, and we ended up with Russia, Ukraine, and we ended up with other disasters, too. Don't forget, I put out 8 wars, 9 to come. I think I'll get the other one taken care of, but I put out 8 wars. And look at the damage that Russia, Ukraine has done to us as a country. I mean, we spent $350 billion. We're not spending any money anymore. Now they pay us through NATO. You know, I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. Well, that's very important. When you're president, you really sort of have to watch over the world because you're going to be dragged into it. Otherwise, you're going to be dragged into a world war. I think if I weren't president, first of all, that war would have never happened if I was president. And if I weren't president, that war could have led to World War III. It won't. It's not going to anymore. But when I first got in, I said, wow, this situation could lead to World War III. And I got NATO together. I got everybody together. But with all of that, I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her.
That was Trump lashing out at Marjorie Taylor Greene, given her continued attacks against her own party. And look, I want to be clear about something right off the bat. Am I so naive to think that Marjorie Taylor Greene is operating in good faith when she suddenly goes on this charm offensive, attacking her own party, going on The View, cozying up to left-wing media? No. I think she's trying to run for higher office, either U.S. Senate or even the presidency, and this is the beginning of that campaign. This is not authenticity, it is opportunism. With that said, politics makes for strange bedfellows, and if she's going to accurately criticize Trump and Mike Johnson and the broader Republican conference, especially when it comes to their inability and unwillingness to properly look at what's happening with healthcare, then I am more than happy to amplify that criticism. And if it's more helpful for folks to stomach, consider it this way. We are not agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is agreeing with us. And here's what some of that agreement looks like.
The American people donated and they voted and they fought to win this election in 2024, and they gave us full control, the White House, the House, and the Senate. And to me, that means something. It means something on such a deep level that I take that responsibility very serious. And I'm deeply angry. I'm deeply disappointed. I'm actually to a level of pure disgust that we are wasting the opportunity that we have and not solving the problems. And the problems they're big, but I think we have this one-time chance and it's being thrown away. And so I do understand the, oh, screw the government, leave it shut down, we don't care. But I also look at it and I'm like, well, we got to fix Obamacare because that totally screwed everyone's health insurance. Social Security is literally going to be insolvent in less than 10 years. We should be fixing that. And those are just 2 examples. And I'm so angry at my own party. And I'm angry at all the men in leadership in the House and the Senate. And I'm like, you guys are weak and pathetic. And so that is my viewpoint, because I'm a business owner, and I think of these are our customers, and we have a responsibility to serve our customers, and we have a responsibility to take care of our employees. And then also I'm a mom, and I think you always take care of your children. No matter what, you go above and beyond to take care of your kids and make sure they're safe, make sure they're, everything about it is good for them and their future. And I'll just tell you, I'm beyond pissed off at my own party and the leadership in the House and the Senate that they are totally blowing it.
And to allow Democrats to have some sort of moral high ground on this issue because they're the only ones talking about it, I think is a major failure from the Republican Party. And I'm not going to stand there and just keep talking the talking points when my own adult children can hardly afford health insurance premiums, when everyone in my district, it's the #1 issue that I hear about day in and day out, not just people on the ACA, but people that have private insurance as well. And I think it's something that we have to talk about. And I don't see why the government needs to be shut down. I really don't. I believe that if Republicans learn to govern and wield power, they can use the nuclear option in the Senate. They can open up the government. We can get back to work for the American people, and Republicans can solve this problem that is a very big problem that we can't ignore.
And the reason for this is because even to her, it is abundantly clear that Republicans have no plan whatsoever for health care. And because they successfully got the Democrats to agree to no extension to the ACA subsidies in this latest government shutdown, now what Americans have to look forward to is healthcare premiums rising 2, 3, 4, 5 times more in 2026 than what they were in 2025, as was the case with one of Senator Ruben Gallego's constituents, whose monthly premium is set to rise from $514 a month to $2,435 a month. In other words, an extra $24,000 per year. Basically another mortgage, all because Republicans are hell-bent on destroying the ACA and, frankly, do not give a shit what happens next because they've had 15 years to come up with an alternative to the ACA, and so far, this is what we've got.
If the government reopened tonight, would Republicans have a plan to address the Obamacare subsidies?
Yes.
You would have a plan
we
tonight.
have proposals to, we could have that ready immediately. Yes. Yeah, because here's the thing. We work in a deliberative public body, and we have hundreds of members. It's a very complicated, very complex issue that requires a long time to build consensus around. We have ideas on the table, and the whole process of the legislative body is to build consensus around it. That's why we have to do that, and that's what we've been planning to do all along. It was never possible or appropriate to have this decided on a CR, a simple stopgap funding measure for 7 weeks, a clean continuing resolution. The Democrats know that, and they are not being truthful about it. And take Whip Clark's words for it. They shut the government down, and they're using hardworking American families who she says will suffer, and they know it, as leverage for this political game.
If it takes a long time to build consensus, why not bring the House back to talk about the plan that you say you have to fix health care?
Because the House has done its job. The House passed the CR. We did it over a month ago. And we need Chuck Schumer and the Democrats to do what they have always done. They did it 13 times during the Biden administration, 13 times. And Chuck Schumer did it most recently 7 or 8 months ago in March of this year. And he gave an impassioned speech on the floor and said, that's the only possible outcome. You could never possibly shut the government down because it would be dangerous and it would hurt real Americans.
That was weeks ago. And yet here we are this week, and surprise, surprise, still no plan. Just like there has never been a plan, despite Trump promising since 2016 that we're only 2 weeks away from the best and brightest healthcare plan we've ever seen. The reality is that there is no Republican healthcare plan, and there never will be. If there was, we would have seen it sometime between now and the last 15 years. The actual plan is that Republicans just don't want the ACA. Why? 2 reasons. First, they hate Obama, and they view the ACA not as a program that helps Americans, but rather as a reflection of Obama's success. And their disdain for Obama is stronger than their desire to help Americans. So if that means tens of millions of Americans have to suffer while Republicans hobble the ACA for their own ego, that's a price they're willing to have us pay while they score petty political points. But second, they simply do not care about healthcare. It is not their priority. Remember, this is a party that just cut healthcare to the tune of $1 trillion in the latest budget. They stripped Medicaid from 17 million Americans, and now they're ensuring that ACA premiums double, triple, quadruple, or more in 2026. Again, they do not care about healthcare. If they did, they wouldn't be behaving exactly the way they're behaving right now. The reality here is actually quite simple. Mike Johnson does not want to protect the ACA, which 24 million Americans rely on. He and his party hate this law that enabled millions of Americans to get coverage. They do not believe in healthcare as a right. This is their way of destroying it from within, allowing it to become so effective and so expensive that it becomes less popular and therefore easier to destroy with their own plan that they've had 15 years to uncover, and yet here we are, still waiting. So look, if Mike Johnson and Republicans want to gut healthcare, that's their prerogative, but at least have the balls to admit it. At least have the balls to own your own position. At least admit that you are defying 78% of Americans who want Congress to extend these subsidies. Mike Johnson can fix this in one day if he wanted to, but he doesn't, and that's the point. So if you're a Republican out there and you don't want your healthcare costs to double or triple or quadruple, Don't even take it from me. Take it from Marjorie Taylor Greene herself, who is able to do what Mike Johnson and the rest of the GOP won't. The goal for these Republicans is not finding a solution. It is to exact as much pain as possible, and they have no plan to fix it. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.